Throughout the last few years, science has made tremendous leaps with what we know and understand on a microbiological level. Unfortunately, there are things that still do not make complete sense and people are left wondering. Rett syndrome is one of those things. Rett syndrome is a rare disease which affects about 1 in 15 to 25,000 females worldwide. Rett syndrome is a unique genetic mutation developmental disorder which affects brain function. The specific mutation is responsible for cognitive, sensory, emotional, motor, and autonomic function, which can include learning, speech, sensory sensation, mood, movement, breathing, cardiac function, and even chewing, swallowing, and digestion. Rett syndrome is asymptomatic for the first 6 to 18 months of life, then there's a slowing down of skills or stagnation of skills, and the period of regression follows as she loses communication skills and motor function. A mutation is a change in the DNA sequence of base pairs from the original sequence. There are a number of mutations which can occur within the DNA. Each mutation affects the DNA in an individual way. A missense mutation alters the base pair within the DNA strand, resulting in a change of an amino acid. In turn, it alters the function of the protein. This disables the protein to perform its proper function and development. Rett syndrome contains a missense mutation known as MECP2. MECP2 typically codes for a protein called MECP2, which influences over 400 proteins, all known for playing a vital role in nerve cell function. Once the MECP2 gene is changed, the instruction for the MECP2 protein change as well. These changes disrupt the protein from completing its job of setting off certain genes throughout development so other genes may be expressed. Therefore, the proper function of nerve cells never fully develop, which causes poor neurological and musculoskeletal function. The most interesting part of this mutation is how it occurs spontaneously. The mode of inheritance is important when looking at a disorder because it demonstrates the manner in which a genetic trait is passed on from generation to generation. There are many different types of mode of inheritance, such as Y-linked, X-linked, dominant, recessive, and more. Typically, an X-linked dominant trait is passed on to the offspring without skipping any generations and occurs in both males and females. This means that in an offspring, their mother or father must be affected by the disorder. But Rett syndrome is different. Rett syndrome is an X-linked dominant disorder. The uniqueness comes in because Rett syndrome is a spontaneous mutation which occurs at a specific site on the X chromosome. Therefore, the original trait itself is not inherited from the mother or father. This disorder typically only occurs in females due to the mutation deleting necessary information males cannot compensate for due to their sole X chromosome. Males are typically miscarried or stillborn. In addition, the mutation causes most females to be barren, therefore studies of inheritance are unable to be further analyzed. Each sex is determined by a type of chromosome they carry. A male has an X and a Y chromosome, while a female carries 2 X chromosomes. This causes females to have about twice the amount of genetic information due to the X chromosome's larger size. Therefore, 1 X chromosome gets shut off in each cell so females do not end up with 2 active copies of the genes. This occurs randomly. Each cell does not have to turn off the same X chromosome. The X chromosome that remains active in a particular cell is the template for that cell during replication. The inactivated X chromosome never turns back on. This comes into play with Rett syndrome because if the chromosome that remains active contains the MECP2 gene, it is replicated in those cells which contain it. It also pertains to the severity of the disorder. Depending on how many active and inactive chromosomes carry the mutation varies the severity of the female symptoms. The more cells which contain the active MECP2 gene increases the severity of the girl's symptoms, all leading to neurological and musculoskeletal deficits.